It's interesting because feelings are now the ultimate barometer by which society measures things. If it feels good, do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. It's become our ultimate barometer in society, and this is very wrong. Love is not just an emotion or a feeling, it's an act of the will. So to trust in Jesus even when I don't feel like it, takes an act of the will sometimes. We know this isn't easy, we know this is difficult. I'll use myself as an example. I, in many ways, have to consciously make my commitment to Christ to be fully chaste in every which way, in word, thought, and deed. I have to be completely chaste, so I make that conscious effort. Why? Because I trust him. Suffering's another one. Does anybody feel like suffering? No, the first thing we do, watch TV or turn on or open a magazine, the first thing is all these products to alleviate your suffering. That's the first thing that we see. Get rid of your suffering. Take this, take that, do this, do that. It also has to be a trust that God, you can bring a greater good out of this suffering. That you can it's redemptive, and that you can actually bring a greater good from something that I detest naturally in my human nature. Suffering for the will of God when we don't want to do something is the ultimate sign of faith. What we have to keep in mind is God always wants to bring a greater good out of something. He always does. Even when we feel disappointed in him, it's always he's at work trying to bring a greater good out of something for us. I always like to tell people, when you feel like Jesus has let you down, and you feel in your heart this way, you're really not listening to him. You know who you're listening to? The evil one. Because the evil one is the one that wants to tell you Jesus let you down. He never lets us down. Now, unfortunately, we feel that he does sometimes. Well, Father, he didn't answer my prayer. Well, what was your prayer? Well, my prayer was that I got that new job in California. Well, maybe God doesn't want you to go into California. Maybe that's an area that right now is not right for you. I used to pray all the time for the perfect wife, for God to bring me that perfect spouse. But yet I could never quite find that perfect person who I believed would be my spouse. I got to the point where I was angry with God. God, I've prayed, I've done the Venas, I've done everything for you to send me the right spouse. You still haven't done it. What is wrong? What have I haven't done? God knew better than I did. He listened to my prayer, but for my greater good, he didn't send me that spouse. You know why? Because he was calling me to the priesthood. I just didn't know it then. So now I look back, God shows me clearly now my vocation was to be a priest. He just had to iron out some wrinkles in me beforehand. God does answer all prayers. He just didn't answer it in the way I wanted him to answer it. That is really what we have to understand when sometimes we feel like he's letting us down. It's never him letting us down. It's always him purging us or building humility, perhaps through maybe breaking us down a little bit, but always our greater good is in his will to do for us. And sometimes we don't see it, we don't understand it, but many times, in fact, all times, this is what God is doing for us. So basically, what it means to trust in someone is to surrender. And when I trust in Jesus, I surrender my will to his will. That's what the cross is. It's when my will crosses his will must be done.